Right. So, life hacks number 2.
Number 2.
You're waving around. What are you waving?
I don't know. Just making
peace sign. Peace, listeners. Peace. Okay, so I'm going to open up. On the last episode, I mentioned that I would be talking about Sleep Cycle, and that is going to be my first one today. So, Sleep Cycle is an app that you use for tracking sleep. You set an alarm last thing at night, and it presumes that is the final thing that you do. So it calls that your sleep, your going to bed time. It then tracks when you wake up on the morning, sets an alarm off. You can give it a window of time between an hour and 10 minutes, during which it uses the motion sensor in your phone to detect your motion sensor or the microphone to detect the depth of sleep that you're in. And it tries to find a time to wake you when you are closest to light sleep. That feature for me, I don't use an awful lot, but I know it can be pretty effective. The thing that I like the most is just tracking the amount of time that I've been asleep. I've used it for 1,200 plus nights now. So I've been doing it since like 2000.
Big data collection there.
Yeah.
So your correlates will be very accurate now as well.
It's unbelievable. Are you still using it?
Not frequently.
Right, okay. So
should explain what the correlates are, I suppose, as well.
Yeah, so the amount of data that it tracks to do with your sleep is unbelievable. So it associates the weather, the air temperature, the pressure, the moon's position, the location, the geographic location that you're in based on your phone's location services. It literally uses everything and then plots it against how good was your sleep. So it uses the length of time that you were asleep plus the depth of sleep determined by either the microphone or the motion sensor, and then works out a quality of sleep that's based on a percentage. That percentage then gets plotted against all the other bits and pieces, and then it shows you an average of your time over the last week, over month, over all time, and it also tells you people in your country what their average is, so on and so forth. So if you're a bit of the sort of person who likes to drill down the data on that sort of thing, you can really get into it. And even if you don't, it tells you how long you've been asleep and what the effects on your sleep are. So I know that when it's a non-full moon, whatever the opposite is, like non-existent moon, what is it?
Crescent moon or like...
No, lower than that.
half moon.
No, lower than
quarter moon. Shit moon.
Shit moon, no moon. When there's no moon, my sleep goes up by 2%.
Blue moon.
No, that's twice in the same month. And we've had 2 of them this year. So we had one
in a blue moon.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Phrase,
what is a blue moon? Blue moon is when one full moon occurs during the same month. But this year it was a red moon and a super moon. So it was a blue blood red supermoon. That was the final one at the end of January.
Lunar knowledge is incredible.
I like the moon. Bought my mum a moon for Christmas.
Why do you like the moon?
It's cool. Bought my business partner's kid a moon for his first birthday. Hi, mate.
Oh, he's done.
Oh,
No, still going.
Come in.
David's just having a little
Talking about the moon.
shrimp through. So,
Do you like the moon, David?
Huh?
Do you like the moon?
Yeah.
Moon's good. So,
right.
Sleep Cycle, you can get a free version. It's an app for your phone, available on Android and on iPhone. If anyone follows me on Instagram, I put up screenshots of it all the time because I nerd out on it. It's really, really useful, and I recommend that you try it.
Last episode we talked about meal prep. This is the man that got me into the slow cooker. Currently prepped his meals earlier and he's reaping the benefits now.
What's up next for you then?
So Sleep Cycle, big fan of as well.
Do you know, just a quick point on it, do you know, so like all I would look at in Fitbit is hours, really. Mm-hmm. I kind of take with a pinch of salt the whole sleep depth.
I'd agree.
The whole like lunar cycle compared to your sleep, I agree, nice to have, but it's a bit like, being told the world's going to end, like there's not much you can do with the information. Mm-hmm. Is there anything that you do look at, or is there anything you've changed or like added, stopped with your routines?
In terms of the native options on Sleep Cycle, no. However, you can add sleep notes.
I mean, in terms of your sleep routines.
Yep. You can add these sleep notes in. So sleep notes are more conditional options that you can choose before you go to bed. So, for instance, you could have a sleep note which says, had caffeine after 6 p.m. today, spent more than 5 hours at work, worked the night, had alcohol, didn't have alcohol, felt stressed, did meditate, didn't meditate, went to the gym, did whatever, and the correlate between bunches of those mean that you can perform an experiment on yourself with any variable that you want. So for me, I know if I have caffeine after 4 p.m. in the day, I will have 5% worse sleep.
Does it then log that as something you can enter again?
Yes. Across time.
So you're just building your own data on your own sleep, basically.
Yes.
So I've used that as well, and it kind of tells you like caffeine worsens your sleep, melatonin improves your sleep.
Like things things you'd expect. Is there anything that's unexpected that came out of it?
For me, yes, but I think my sample size was too small.
What was the unexpected thing?
ZMA reduced sleep quality a little bit. And
that's quite a common concern.
Yeah.
A common complaint with ZMA. Yeah.
I can't remember the other ones, but it changed over time, so I was like, it's
not.
The effect that melatonin has, if I have 3 milligrams of melatonin or 5 milligrams,
I think that's the strongest thing for me.
Unbelievable. Like 10% improved sleep. Obviously, I mean, you will
it's meant to reduce your sleep requirement by an hour.
You will become dependent on it after a little while.
Yeah.
But, right, okay, scope.
So another sleep one. And now, it is the time for you to set aside the worries for the day.
Pizzazz thing, isn't it?
This is,
and allow
pizzazz.
Things easy to be easy. And let your body take care of the rest.
You're weirding everyone out. What you want
As you develop... That is Peases. It's a guy with a delightful, soothing voice and some soundscapes to lull you into sleep. And there's something really Pavlovian about it, that when you start to hear the voice, you do just get knocked out.
Sorry.
But just, and then it plays again when you wake up, but gently brings you back up.
So it's kind of like...
very similar.
Sleep cycle, but like a literary sleep cycle.
Kind of. It doesn't track anything. So if you're going to use Peases and you want tracking data as well, you'll probably need a Fitbit or a BitFit or something.
You could use both. You could easily use both because sleep cycle doesn't.
We should launch BitFit.
Yeah.
BitFit. Do you reckon? What do you reckon?
Buttfoot.
Cease and desist letter.
Can you imagine how hard you'd have to Google search engine optimize to get BitFit above Fitbit?
If there's anyone that can do it.
Fitbutt.
Footbutt. I've developed a negative relationship with it. I've realised this. I've told you this
Peases.
Yeah. So I had it. It was initially something recommended by a guy called Dave Asprey when I used to listen to his stuff back when I was bogged down, TM. And I used to listen to it when I would struggle to sleep. So the noise, the voice, is associated with me with not being able to sleep.
Oh, that's reverse conditioning. That classical, but wrong.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Netflix, man.
Netflix,
mate. Honestly, I'm out like a light.
I cannot fall asleep when something's on.
Really?
Music, audiobook, or TV. I cannot fall asleep.
So I think for me, I like for my falling asleep to not be the focus of what's going on.
It's not.
I'm too easy. If I'm like, oh my fucking god, I need to fall asleep.
It's like you're hunting a small woodland animal, and you if you look directly at it, it's going to run away. So you got to just
just pretend.
I think I'm far too easily stimulated, which is probably an excuse I've used a number of times.
Oh, sorry, I'm too easily stimulated.
Honestly, Netflix should have been on. Right, you're up, Johnny.
Oh my god, I hadn't thought of one. Let me think. Oh, thanks, man.
Yusuf's just turned a list of over 30.
Oh, okay.
It's probably more than 30.
So I'm very theme based rather than specific apps. But Yusuf's got Habitbull written on there. Habitbull, which is an app for building momentum with habits. Something that for me has been the only thing that allows me to do or build any kind of habit or break any kind of habit is direct one-on-one accountability, some kind of challenge with someone else. And it's something that I originally heard from Tim Ferriss. There's apps and websites where you can give an amount of money to, it's like held in escrow, and then if you fail to do the thing or keep hitting the table, fail to like continue with the habit or fail to break the habit, you lose the money. Like you're creating loss aversion to that thing. And so having some kind of competition or looking bad in front of someone, having that accountability for me has allowed me to be consistent with meditation, journaling, sleep habits, like all the habits I spoke about.
You do that by having a Google Drive document where
really basic.
Multiple people have access. It's a spreadsheet that's hosted online.
Yep.
Both people have access. You log whether or not you did the thing that you said you were going to do and can see whether the other person did as well.
That's it. That's exactly it.
External accountability is a big thing, man.
Huge. And obviously that's the service we provide, but it's Yusuf and I, for those people listening. But yeah, I think that, because I've tried so many habit apps.
Yeah.
Like there's Coach.me or Lyft, Habit Bull. There's loads of them.
I think I've got at least 3 that I've never used.
Because
I managed to get the habit of downloading it.
Yeah.
And you download it,
these habit apps. This is going to be the thing that changes, and I've got it now. Like habits aren't going to be a problem. I've got this new thing, or even like people who talk about incrementally adding in habits and things like that.
Yeah.
That's something that meditation is something that we all do. The thing, 2 things got me meditating. One was Yusuf challenging me, and then the other was being involved in a challenge.
Yeah.
Of daily, like, if in the back of your head, someone else is meditating, someone else is going to do that thing today.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be the one that gives up. I'm not going to be the one that breaks the chain.
Yeah.
And having just generally on like these apps, and the process of building a habit is being like, start with 2 minutes a day, build it up to 3 minutes a day, 4 minutes a day. Tried that. You get to like 3 weeks in, you're doing 6 minutes a day of meditation.
Still shite.
Something inconsequential. You're still below the tipping point of actually feeling any kind of benefit.
Yeah.
And I was harping on about this to Yusuf one day. We were on a course in Liverpool, and he just goes, just meditate for 30 minutes a day for 10 days and tell me honestly they don't feel anything. I'm like, fine. Like, if that's what's required for me to get to say to you, see, I told you, Yusuf, I told you meditation doesn't do anything, then that's what did it. That's what broke the seal.
No.
Right. Really interesting. There's 2 things there of like the negative feedback from pieces causing you to sleep worse because you only listen to it on the days when you weren't able to sleep, and the negative feedback of meditating for 6 minutes a day and thinking like, well, this is a waste of time, and actually, like, if anything, doing that makes you meditate less in the long term.
I'm going to do 2. First one is getting things that will play on your mind out of the way early in the day. So for me, if I don't meditate before I leave the house, it will stress me throughout the rest of the day that I know I still need to meditate. And I'm like, oh, shit, I didn't get it done. So what I've done is I've programmed in that I'm allowed to have in my own mind a 3-minute, this is on Headspace, which is going to be my next one, a 3-minute emergency session, which is like, you have 3 minutes. Get in the car before you set off, you have 3 minutes. Just drive a bit faster. Like, so, and that 3 minutes at least means, like, I still need to come back and try and do a 15-minute, 20-minute, a half an hour later on. But I'm like, right, the anxiety of the fact that I didn't do my morning thing that I said I was going to do, that's out.
Again, another irony that not meditating makes you more anxious than if you just didn't meditate as a person.
Yeah. But yeah, a little bit. You build a very, very high wall that you then throw yourself off the top of. So yeah, my main one next one is going to be Headspace. I guess when I first heard about it was probably about 18 months ago, and it seems to have just got everywhere since then. Andy Puddicombe, the guy that owns it, he's released a podcast that's massive. They're working with Nike now. There's a Nike pack. Like, he's working with huge NBA teams, like these teams that are the best in the country in America at basketball, all sorts of stuff.
He's just been on a couple of famous podcasts as well.
He's getting everywhere at the moment. He was with Russell Brand the other day. I saw he'd just done Russell Brand's podcast. He's fantastic. So anyway, Headspace, it's an app for guided meditation. If you haven't ever done meditation before, you will hear us speak about it a fair bit, and you might just think it's all a bit woo-woo. I've got some friends who know it isn't for them. Jordan Wallace, owner of Reebok CrossFit Tyneside, for him, meditation is not for him. And I actually completely agree based on what I know about his personality. And I do genuinely think that there's a lot of people, a large minority of people, should I say, for whom meditation isn't correct. However, I do think that it could benefit an awful lot of people. But the same as we said in the last episode, when we were talking about people who want to get into mobility but don't know where to start, you need to find the training wheels version. You don't go into a gym and try and pick up 200 kilos off the floor immediately in a deadlift when you don't even know how to perform an empty bar deadlift. You go in and you do the basics first and you get a coach. Guided meditation is an easy way to start off that journey. You sit down, you press a button on the app and you listen to what they say exactly the same way as you would do with the ROMWOD that we spoke about last time, that you go through the poses. These are mental poses or mental states that it asks you to go through, thought experiments. And over time, as you move through different packs, you are given fewer and fewer cues, and you allow yourself to be more in control of your brain rather than the impetus coming from outside in. It tracks stuff like daily streaks. There's loads and loads of different packs. There's ones for anxiety, sport performance, creativity at work, family, relationships, all manner of different things. And you can choose between 3 minute and 20 minute sessions for the most part. For me, I've moved through different guided meditation courses, but the one that I keep coming back to the most has been Headspace. And I think the length of the sessions is good. The fact that there's so many and they're all different with a little bit of different introduction is really, really good. And I like the visualizations that he uses. A lot of the ones I genuinely do feel. So he does some about warm sun filling up the body. He does a lot of check-ins with the body as well, which is nice. It's definitely one of my favorite resources, and it's free again as well. You can get a free trial so you can see whether or not you like it. Meditation apps. What's your...
Well, two things just on what you've said. I think you mentioned about having a backup of meditation to fall back on.
Mm-hmm.
Something else that I do with that habits tracking is every habit I do has a scaled version, because I think being able to maintain, I think the psychology of breaking your streak with something, is really negative. So again, negative thing, like because you've skipped a day, you're less likely to do it again the next day because you haven't got that wave of...
You get the catastrophic thinking, right? I've eaten one biscuit, I'll finish the packet.
Exactly. Whereas if you've meditated for 5 days in a row, you're more and more likely to hit the 6th day, 7th day, 17th day.
Yeah.
Meditating, I think I also started with Headspace, did is it 10 in 10, take 10?
Yep.
It is a great introduction. I think I've since moved away from it. From what I did, I can't speak of what it's like now. When I was doing it, I feel like he made a big deal about,
So it's day 3. Are you feeling anything yet?
Yeah.
Right.
I feel it was like you've done 100 minutes of meditation by the end of take 10. That's enough to change your brain and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember thinking, I must be doing it wrong because I don't feel any changes. I think it vastly, a lot of the apps, Calm's the same. So I've tried some of the Calm subscriptions. They vastly underplay the time it takes, the investment it takes to actually get to the point where you're like, okay,
Totally agree.
I can feel some change from meditation. So,
I totally agree.
I see why they're doing that. Like if they just delivered this negative, like guys, buckle down.
If you don't have an hour to sit down, you can just fuck.
Like unless you've got at least 200 hours, like what's the point? Obviously that's not going to get people to subscribe.
You don't buy in. It needs to be inclusive, I guess, as well.
It does.
So
it does.
Another one, Aubrey Marcus has done a fantastic. He's the guy that owns On It. He's done a fantastic course called Release Into Now, and I think we've all done it. Have you done it, Scott?
Yeah, I haven't done the full,
but you've done bits of it. That is for me. If you've got yourself into meditation and you've realised that it's for you, or if you're looking for a new guided meditation, I strongly recommend that you buy Release Into Now. It's probably the nicest, most complete meditation course that I've ever done. Like, that's not speaking from a massive pool of options.
And it's in high enough doses as well as the 30-minute session or an hour session or whatever.
That's what makes it stand out, I think.
Yeah, you can't mess about with it.
There's no airs and graces.
Yeah.
No.
So, very much agree with both of you that Headspace is a great intro to meditation if you have decided that, again, you are somebody who would respond well to it.
Just to quickly touch on that, you mentioned not everyone is
a large minority.
I've heard you mention that before as well.
Yeah.
How I'm sat here, I've never meditated before. How might I begin to understand?
Don't decide straight away. Some people are, that's not for me.
Right.
And probably if they're deciding that early on, it may be the thing.
Probably is for you.
That's what I find so interesting when people like Jordan, how do you arrive at that?
You've got to give it a solid shot, 50, 100 hours before you can even start to say. And actually, if you find it really challenging and really unpleasant, that's probably a sign that you should be doing it. And if you're like, well, actually, I'm able to do it, but I get more out of physical practice or whatever, then you may have a different sticking point. And we move through different sticking points as we evolve. It's not as if we have a static problem. So right now, my sticking point is the body. It's not the mind. But that's just because I've now outweighed my physical, spiritual practices I've outweighed them with the amount of meditation that I've done. So,
which is a fucking mental thing to say.
And how much, just to give, because again,
sense of scale.
Like I think I've slowly tiptoed into this world. The doors have opened. I'm like, fuck me, like this is
shit.
Because you do 100 minutes, and you're like, bloody hell, I've done 100 minutes. How many?
Well, this is another
hours?
thing. Just before I say this, then,
okay.
I think the criticism that you said of Headspace is really important. That it does try to kind of push you along and be like, oh, this is it.
It's the 10-minute abs booty blaster home DVD
Of
workout.
meditation, absolutely,
100%. And so, as soon as you have had the intro to meditation from the guided
Get
sessions,
the fuck out.
move away from guided sessions. They can be done as a crutch, a stabilizer.
Yeah.
But really, if you start moving beyond it, then you can start to make some progress with them.
I think the analogy is that if someone's been sedentary on the couch and not exercised for 4 years, Charlotte Crosby's at-home booty blaster workout for 10 minutes on DVD is not a bad start.
Yeah, gets them off their feet.
Yes.
And then, and so there is a tendency when someone's like, oh, I'm going to start meditating. It's like, okay, I'm going to get an app. And it's like, the app isn't the thing. The practice is the thing. So do whatever is needed to establish, to be clear on
to get buy-in, right?
Yeah, to get buy-in, get practice on it. And I'd say read a book on meditation. There's many very accessible ones by monks. The best one that I found, the most accessible one is Mindfulness in Plain English by Henepola Gurantana. That's like, just because, and as it says on the tin, it's like very clearly written, gets buy-in, and teaches you the method very clearly, and doesn't give you too much more to sit and ruminate or think about while you're meditating.
As you can imagine, a lot of monks that are writing about meditation can
go deep
pretty
into
dick
it.
Got
balls
a lot
with,
to talk about.
It's fairly esoteric, in case you hadn't
Yeah,
realised.
it can get that much. And I think it's better to save the esoteric knowledge and wisdom for your own experience, because all of the stuff that they talk about that is very esoteric comes from the deep states that they've achieved in meditation. So you may as well achieve them yourself rather than read about them and then try and see whether you're like...
Imagine what that might be like.
Yeah.
Exactly. So,
so let's
I do still use an app for meditation saying that, but the app is completely minimal. It's just a black timer. You set the time, you say start or stop.
That's Insight Timer, right?
Insight Timer. Now, I do use a little crutch, which is the sound of a wooden clave every 5 minutes, just to like mark the time.
Something I was going to ask you was someone hears that they've done 10 in 10. It's take 10, right?
I'm not sure.
Okay, whatever it is.
Welcome to take 10.
That sounds
Hands
right.
in the arms.
Resting
Down
on the
to the
legs.
legs. If you've ever heard Andy Puddicombe before, you'll know exactly what we're doing.
Listen, any sounds? Any sensations?
On the side of the road, cars going by.
Andy, there's a really small chance that you might be listening to this, and I'm so sorry
And
for you.
you can open the eyes again. So you've done that. You've listened to Andy say, you can open the eyes again. And you're now trying to do it unguided. So I sit down for 10 minutes and all I think about is emails, shopping, Netflix, the stuff that floods your mind.
Yep.
And I get to the end of the 10 minutes or however long I'm trying to do, and it's annoying, it's frustrating. Like I've just sat there and thought for 10 minutes.
Yep.
Do you just persist with that? Or in that instance, is a guided session something to bring you back to the process?
I think if you're really shit, then you need guided sessions, which have the only difference there is you're still applying the same method. And I think pick one method, dig one deep hole rather than lots of shallow holes. But the guided session will just give you frequent prompts, and as Chris said, the progressive overload element of it is less and less frequent prompts until you maybe have a prompt every 20 minutes or every half an hour or whatever.
The back end of most of the packs, if you're doing a 30-day pack on Headspace, the back end of most of them will have Andy introduce you set you down, and then it will be probably about every 5 minutes throughout
Welcome
20.
to day 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
You will never get to the point where you sit down and you're like, oh, that was incredible. I was so focused for that entire time. Like the whole, if anything, so for anyone who doesn't follow us directly, I've just come back from a 10-day meditation retreat where we did sort of 75 hours during that time. And the predominant sense is you realize how insane you are because you're sat there and you sit down and you're like, right, okay, let's go. Follow the breath on the end of my nose. Barely 2 breaths in, you're thinking about lentils, or you're thinking, and you're just.
It makes me feel so much better that happens to you.
Oh, so much, and and so the reps are bringing it back to the object each time, and you do get longer and longer periods. But there's so many times where you'll be sat in a long session and you'll be like, twat, like the last 20 minutes just been
ruminating about whatever.
And the guy says like that's okay, like that's not the don't judge its success by.
I like the idea of
lentils.
I like the idea of the little gong every 5 minutes because
is it not like a?
Yeah,
well,
it's very subtle, just like a clock tick or something.
Okay, whatever.
But yeah,
I like that. Right, okay, so we'll do a quick little loop around. What have you got?
Insight timer.
Insight timer.
Do you want another loop now?
No, that's okay. We'll go again. You got one?
Muse.
Muse. We're going deep in meditation, right? So I got a message off someone on Instagram the other day after I uploaded a screenshot from Muse saying, "Can you please tell me about that app that tracks your naps in the middle of the day? It looks really good because it's got active, neutral, and calm in it."
Is he having an active
napitation?
Having an active nap. What is that? Is that not just awake?
I'm not sure. Yeah, it's moving. What's Muse?
It is a little headband that you wear around your forehead.
Portable EEG.
Yep.
Machine.
It basically measures your brain activity while you're meditating, and it translates the electrical signal that it picked up into audio in the sound of either like a busy park or a beach. And when you are calm for extended periods of time, it plays the noise of birds. When you are less calm, the weather picks up, it gets more noisy. And basically, you meditate through that process. And it then gives you a calm percentage. It's actually really clever how it works. It gives you a score based on how many birds you had, how calm you were, how many recoveries you had. So
it's very similar to sleep cycle.
Brought it back. Yeah, it is. It is. So for me, I'm very numbers driven, data orientated, and I love being able to chart my progress.
You want to quantify it, right?
Exactly.
Well, you're a powerlifter that lives his life on percentages and RPEs.
And an accountant.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it was built for you.
So when I heard about it, and it's like 250 quid if you're me, or free if you're Yusuf. What's that? Like out the Alien film. Is it? So I was sat in the car on the way to work as an accountant at the time, and Paul Mort was the first person who had ever heard. And he was like, "I've got this headband, and when I do really well, I get birds." And I was like, "Right."
I want birds.
Without fully understanding.
Give me birds.
But yeah, it's fantastic. And I use it. I've used it. I've done over 100 hours with it.
Just to clarify, birds are when you have a sustained amount of time with low brain activity or calm. Birds start tweeting as the.
I also got a headband. All three of us have got them. Johnny paid full price for his. I got mine brand new but second hand on eBay, and Yusuf managed to get his for free by schwepping through Instagram.
So here's an interesting point. Who do you think's had the most benefit
out of the Muse headband?
From the three of us.
Out of the headband, definitely not me.
This is what I'm saying. So I paid full price.
I think you got the most benefit. You've racked up so many hours
because it was free.
But well, no,
it's infinite.
Because I get so.
he doesn't use it.
Right, fine. Did you use it once?
I see what you mean.
Right. So if it isn't correlated to how much he spent for it,
what's the scale then?
But I suppose he's saying
how much benefit you get out of it.
Benefit divided by price, which is infinite. But
in that case, the price is irrelevant. If the price isn't a factor in it, then the price is irrelevant.
I see your point, but the total amount of benefit. So if you quantify benefit by saying hours used,
right? Well,
then I win. Can we all just agree that
you definitely did win?
Johnny posted a spreadsheet the other day, which is it's fantastic. This morning, which was how many. It was his score basically comparing a few weeks ago to now on Muse, and it's unequivocally better. And it's amazing because then if you are numbers driven and you're like, I'm not fully sold on whether this is just a waste of time, whether it's all one big prank to get me to sit and listen to my breath for...
Crossed my mind.
Yeah.
Well, so we did a podcast on this,
Yeah.
on the Propane podcast, about your experience. And I raised, what if...
It's all just a load of
you said before, give it 100 hours before you decide. It's 100 hours you are never getting back.
Yeah.
If you get there and you're
Exactly.
like, what a load of bollocks. So having some way, like... as anything else you do, like if you were saving money every month but you never looked at your savings, it'd be a pretty dreary existence, wouldn't it? Like if you're trying to lose weight but you never measured your weight,
and there's no way around it, and this is why you need buy-in, because it really now only at 450 hours am I able to.
You're pretty convinced, aren't you?
Unequivocally,
But you're asking. We come back to state and trait here, right? Because you definitely feel better while you are meditating, because you have a level of calm that you wouldn't have when you're not meditating. I think getting a trait change, which is outside of the meditation, is it affecting your day-to-day headspace, for want of a better word? That's a lot more difficult to elicit and a lot more difficult to measure.
And interestingly, I'm noticing the trait change now, but I'm less interested in the state change, whereas earlier I was chasing the state change.
Yeah.
Just because it's really like, it's euphoric and it's...
If you want to find out a little bit more about what we're talking about here, a couple of podcasts that would probably do you very well. Sam Harris with... This is Ham Harris. With... Who's the guy he's with?
Oh,
there's two guys.
Two researchers in...
111.
Episode
podcast.
Nice.
Episode number 111 of Sam Harris's Waking Up podcast.
It's with the two eminent
I
researchers.
did that by
in
remembering
meditation
a
science.
bulb, a scone, and a bowl. 111.
That would actually be the word titty.
Look at Chris looking at his audio maxing out.
Just peaking.
And all of the popping peas.
Right, so let's do one quick round.
Quick round. Is this the quick, simple ones?
Yeah,
Quick, simple ones.
Quick, simple ones.
Oh my God.
Let me think about a quick, simple one.
I've got my quick, simple one ready if you guys need some time.
Go on then.
Go.
So, I stole this from Chris. Chris is probably going to think of this one, so he'll be annoyed now. But this was from the founder of WordPress, Noah whatever. Noah...
I told you both this.
Yeah.
What is it?
So you set your trackpad speed to
This
max.
is such a game changer.
And then you set your mate's trackpad scroll to the opposite. And
That's one of those is correct and the other one is not.
the other one's just being nasty.
Yeah, that did it to me.
You know, where some people scroll the correct way, where you scroll
I thought you were going to explain the trackpad speed. We're doing the quick fire
Some people
round.
scroll the incorrect way, which is how Yusuf scrolls. And then everyone else uses the Apple standard settings and scrolls
the right way.
Right way.
So, speed up your trackpad incrementally. Set yourself a reminder now, every month, for the next 5 months, speed up trackpad speed by 1 setting. If you do that, in 5 months' time, you'll be at the maximum setting that you can get to.
So that's the dickhead approach, but
No, that was the pussy approach. Your approach was put it directly to the fastest one and
just
deal
deal
with
with
overshoot for the next 3 weeks as you fly around the screen uncontrollably. Your computer's having a panic attack.
I think just go balls in.
I
Or
couldn't
balls out,
amend
wherever you
it.
like your balls.
You're right. Okay, well, go for either of them.
Wherever
Use your trackpad
wherever they
speed.
are, put them where they.
And what was
aren't.
what was the argument that within you become 10% more efficient in every task on your computer?
it's hard to say whether that's happened, but it does feel...
Yeah, because when even now, you're limited by your trackpad in a way that you can't comprehend.
So I've got an analogy. Everybody here has observed their mum try to Google something, where they move the mouse down to Internet Explorer, and you're like, oh god, like even Internet Explorer, and then they type www.google into the search bar.
It's with
HTTP
index finger as well, isn't it?
yeah.
Single index finger down onto the keyboard.
Single index finger. Then Google comes up, and then they'll type Google into the Google search bar, and then they'll move the mouse up to the edge, click on
Sometimes
the
like
Yeah.
and then move the mouse to that little triangle at the very bottom right, and just individually
Press the down button. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You're right. It's
that's
just
a pretty good argument for
it's just
Alfred. That's the best argument you've ever given for Alfred.
for a
Just
month.
accidentally.
Right, Johnny, you're up.
This is going to be a very specific one to people who film themselves training,
Okay.
which is might be a lot of people, might not be very many people. For a long time, so I do powerlifting, and for a long time I wasn't able to film my set while listening to music. So I even went to the extent of buying an iPod Touch to film my training so that I could continue listening when you're doing like a 1 rep max set or whatever. Media Monster, which is an iPhone app, lets you video while listening to music through the app, which was like honestly
Game changer.
fucking game changer for me.
Wow.
Like, and I remember, so I saw it on Bryce Lewis's Instagram story. Bryce, if you're listening, thank you for this. But I remember because he posted a question saying like, what camera should I buy? What camera should I buy to film my training so that I can listen to music at the same time? And someone was like, mate, just use Media Monster. Saved him hundreds
You have to put
of
your
pounds.
music library in Media Monster.
No, it picks up Spotify.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
What a game changer.
I thought you had to jailbreak your phone.
No. It picks up, and you can even set it so that there's a song that I play all the time for a top set, and it's just whenever I press play Media Monster, that's the song it plays.
That's awesome.
It really is.
That's really cool. Right.
Media Monster.
Media Monster. I think my last one is going to be MyFitnessPal. Now, I'm not going to go through everything for MyFitnessPal because you can use it to track your calories, your caloric intake. You can also do it to track water intake as well. Now, there's even a water button on it. But if you are not prepared...
Waterlogged. It's a better app for that.
Waterlogged?
Waterlogged.
Is it? That's a really, really, really good name.
I know.
Fuck, why didn't we think of waterlogged?
Waterlogged lets you take photos of the water and then photos of the fluid you're drinking, such as like a can of Coke.
Yeah.
And then you just press that and it tops up a little human to the amount your target's the full
From a photo.
full version. As in, you take a photo, log the quantity, so that when you're logging, you just press the photo of the thing that you've had, rather than like, I've had 8 cups. So
That's
like how they do
really cool.
MyFitnessPal.
MyFitnessPal for logging your weight, if you are not prepared to spend £80 on a Withings scale.
It's for nothing. It's a no-brainer. Honestly, you're never going to win that argument. You can continue.
I haven't bought a Withings scale. For most of these things, we've all ended up in the same camp now, haven't we? We've all got a Muse headband. We're all using like some form of sleep app.
So the theme is that I see something that I think is valuable, and I go out and I pay the recommended retail price for it. Yusuf then acquires it in a snidey way for free, and then you get it through some mate who works for Nike
Discount.
at a discounted rate.
Yeah.
And that I think is a really
itself, that
accurate
pattern.
representation of everything that happens.
It's like
Absolutely everything.
When you're over 6 foot, life is just a little bit harder, isn't it? All of that benefit you got of being able to call yourself tall.
I have to bend down that little bit further.
No, but everyone else is like, oh, you're tall, aren't you? Isn't that nice? And me and Yusuf get called short ass because we're under 6 foot.
But it's okay because he gets a free set of
because
scales.
we are not paying RRP for all of this stuff.
The failing is mine for not... It's
being so... Why are your legs so long?
Well, precisely.
What's the
why are they so like...
What's the
apart?
failing?
The same reason why Yusuf gets angry, this is to time travel again, the reason Yusuf gets angry at the guys using Word documents, I'm that guy.
You are?
Yeah. Yusuf looks at it and goes, absolutely not. There's got to be a way around that. And I go, well, Word's on my laptop, so I'm going to use Word. That's the price, so I'm going to pay it. Yusuf looks at it and thinks, that's not the price, it's a proposal.
That's recommended.
For what it...
I think you're fine.
What I might have to say. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your time. And we'll see you. Life Hacks 3 coming up soon.
Excellent. We've got so many more.
Many more. Many more. Bye.